Welcome to Storytime with Tallulah. Today's reading comes from r/IDontWorkHereLady. Our first story is entitled Karen Learns I Don't Have to Help Her. At the start of the COVID lockdowns for non-essentials, my work actually increased. After a week of 12 to 16 hour night shifts, I come home on my Friday, what y'all day workers call Thursday. I park in my spot and start to walk up to my house when the wild Karen appears. Important info, my wife is a property manager for a trailer park. Karen, excuse me, I need you to bring your wife outside so I can talk to her now. Me, no, I don't work for the park and she'll be in the front office once it opens. You have to, it's an emergency. Really? Is someone dying or in danger of being injured? No, it's about this, guys. Then it isn't an emergency, and like I said, I don't work here and have nothing to do with the park. Well, as a concerned citizen, you should. I'm not concerned. I'll report you to the office if you don't help me. Me as I walk inside. Oh, please don't report me to a place I don't work. Oh, no. I walk inside and my wife is getting ready for work and I warn her she'll be having a random encounter with a Karen today. Her face was FML. When my wife was on break, she told me that the Karen was so worried about dogs she heard barking, not whimpering, barking like they were playing in a tenant's home and was going to call the cops to bust down the door to see if the dogs had the corona and were dying because the owner wouldn't answer her if the dogs were sick. Oh my goodness. Didn't we all figure out already that you can't, animals don't get it, like the dogs and cats don't get the coronavirus? Come on. Our next story is titled, Get Off Your Dang Chair and Help. Hey guys, I'm currently working for a third-party vendor for one of the most well-known retail stores in the US. Hint, Blue Vest era. My priority is selling mobile data plans and mobile accessories. In other words, I'm the phone person. This also means that while I work at the electronics counter in the store of Blue Vest, I don't actually work for them. This of course also means that there are certain tasks I am not supposed to do, including ringing people up that aren't purchasing any mobile accessories. There are sometimes exceptions, like when the rest of the electronics associates are swamped because of understaffing. While I try to help out when they're super busy, the point is that I'm not supposed to too often. One afternoon, when I was adding some inventory to the system, one of the associates asked if I could ring up this lady, who is now Karen, who was buying iPhone screen protectors. He was the only associate working at the time, and there was a mini line of 5 people. He wanted to help the next customer while I rang Karen up. One thing I forgot to mention is that I have my own little area at the electronics counter. There, I have my own little seat and computer that many customers have mistaken as a cash register. It's understandable since there is also a card reader there. Not much happened while I was checking her items out. It was just any normal transaction at the cash register. She thanks me and I tell her to have a good day. Afterward, I go back to my seat to complete the inventory. About 10 minutes later, while I'm still sitting at my computer, it happens. Karen taps her nail on my counter. Me looks at her smiling. Yeah? Karen shoves her pointer finger into my face. You need to get off your dang chair and help everyone that's in line right now. Me immediately annoyed. Excuse me? We all have been waiting in line and you've just been sitting here doing nothing. It's not other associate. Ma'am, she actually isn't a Walmart associate and is actually supposed to strictly be in charge of phones. Karen, surprised, he came to my defense. I was just trying to help you. Other associate. Yes, I understand, but if you could just wait in line, I will be able to assist you soon. Okay. You see, I just thought I saw her. Yes, I understand. Then the Karen left without apologizing, of course, just kind of waddled off. The other associate and I just shared a look like, what the F was that? Karen didn't even go back in line. In fact, she wasn't in line in the first place. I had already helped her and she left and for some reason felt the need to come back and yell at me. But yeah, so that's my little I don't work here story. I have a couple more, but this is the first one that came to mind. Hope you enjoyed. Oh, and I treated that associate to Starbucks. Edit. Oh wow, this really took off. Thanks for the gold. I swear I'm trying to read all the comments. Can't customers be terrible sometimes? Especially the Karens that are all vigilante. I'm doing you the favor. Our next story is titled, IDWHL Success. I have no idea what that means. I usually try to, I don't work here, lady. What is wrong with me? Sorry. I usually try to avoid employees at grocery stores. They're busy with their jobs and whatever my needs are can wait. If I can't find something, I'll search the entire store before I dare ask someone where something is. Or peek around at other people's carts and ask them kindly, "Oh, where'd you find that?" People are usually willing to help if it doesn't inconvenience them. This day, my mother sent me to the store to get steaks. Nothing else, as she already went shopping, but she wasn't happy with the steak collection at the store. Steaks are an unknown world to me. I don't know what I'm looking for. If I got the wrong one for my mother, I knew I'd be hearing it for a week. Looking at this wall of meat was overwhelming, so I see a couple, 30s, picking out a few steaks. I kindly ask them, "Sorry, I know you don't work here. Do you know anything about steak? I'm supposed to pick some up for my family, but I don't know what I'm looking for." The husband rolled his eyes and laughed and said, "Ask her." The wife busted out laughing, saying, "I'm actually a chef downtown. Of course I can help you." Y'all, I learned so much about steaks in the 5 minutes we talked. She asked me how I plan to cook it. On the grill. How many people I'm feeding? 3. Do I plan to marinate? Yes. For how long? Up to an hour. She picked out the best cuts of New York strip for me, took me down the spice aisle and told me how to make a marinade, how high to set the grill, how to time it perfectly, told me how to rotate it 45 degrees twice. Edit, once on each side. I went home and made the best steak dinner for my family. They were so impressed. Now I'm in charge of grilling steaks for family occasions like Easter, Memorial Day, Dad's birthday, and so on. Thank you so much to the kind lady who didn't work there. You have no idea how much your attention impacted my life that day. I'm forever grateful. Edit. I'm so thankful for all the nice comments. Thank you. Here's some questions I've answered with the comments. So for the marinade, she gave me the option of buying spices and creating my own or going to a ready-made one like Montreal steak. I opted for a ready-made one that was like garlic herb. She said to pat the steaks dry and coat them in the spice mix. Then I put them in a Ziploc bag and maybe half a bottle of some cheap Italian dressing. She said there's certain oils and vinegars I could play with, but for a beginner, store-brand Italian dressing would work fine. I let them marinate for just under an hour. I took them out, patted them dry, and used the spice mix again. These were 2-inch thick New York strip steaks. The grill I got is about 425 to 450 degrees. And I put the steaks on quick and shut it. I turned all the burners on medium to low, and the last one with no meat over it to high. I toggled with the last burner to try to keep the grill between 400 to 450 degrees. I set a timer for 4 minutes 30 seconds. After 4:30, I rotated the steaks 45 degrees anyway. Another 4:30 minutes. I flipped 4:30 minutes, rotate 4:30 minutes more. So looking at a clock, your steak on the grill is like 6 minutes. A straight line up and down vertical. Turn it a bit so it would read 240. If you turn it to 345, that would be a 90-degree rotation. 45 degrees is halfway between turning it completely horizontal. I hope this helps. Basically, I pulled them off when the timer beeped. I didn't cut to check, figuring if anyone had something to say, they could put it back and cook their own. They were a perfect medium with some pretty professional-looking grill marks. For medium well, I do 5 whole minutes or maybe 5:30 for well done. Good luck! Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a good I don't work here lady story. I like it. You learned something. Sounds like a good steak. Our next story is titled, Karen Needs Her Very Own Checkout Lane. This happened several years ago. I was shopping at Garden Ridge, which sold household items, decor items, gifts, and craft supplies. It was a huge store with 2 entrances and 2 sets of checkout lanes, 1 set at each entrance. I was actually shopping when a round woman in her 50s or 60s got right in front of my cart. She glared at me and I tried to go around her, but stopped me again, saying, "You gonna help me or what?" I said, "What?" "I need a register open so I can check out." I looked at her astounded. I said, "I don't work here, but there are registers open at the other entrance." To which she replied, "I don't want to walk to those registers. Now open one and check me out." I looked her in the eye and said sternly, "I don't work here." She threw her hands up in the air and started to walk away. As she was walking away, she turned and yelled at me, "This isn't over." I ignored her. I grabbed the last couple of items I needed and headed to the registers/checkout. I noticed the line was not moving, and I could hear that awful woman's voice. She was arguing with the cashier. The cashier called a manager. Other people waiting in line were getting impatient, and it was showing. The manager arrived and instructed the cashier to open another register so that the rest of us, the sane people, could check out.
How come you open a register for them but not for me?
The awful woman yelled at the manager. He replied, "Ma'am, you are at an open register now. What can I help you with?"
I wanted a register open at the other door and one of your workers refused to do it.
She kept babbling nonsense. I raised my hand and got the manager's attention. The awful woman looked over at me at the same time the manager did.
It was her. She wouldn't open a register for me. Then she lied and said she didn't work here,
shouted the awful woman. "Ma'am, she doesn't work here," the manager said.
Are you going to help me or not?
She yelled. "I'm trying to help you, ma'am, but you haven't asked for something that I can help you with. If you want to check out, then I'll check you out." The awful woman huffed and puffed and started angrily putting her items on the counter. I was nearly done paying for my items at the other checkout lane when she was done paying for hers. The manager handed her the receipt and told her to have a nice day. As the awful woman was walking towards the door, she paused and shouted,
"I guess customer service is dead here."
The manager shouted back, "Ma'am, you can call corporate and get out of your system. I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me or my staff."
"Oh, I'm definitely calling corporate, and I'm telling them everything that happened here today," she yelled.
I was walking past her and said to her, "I'm sure that will be rich. Tell them you need to have your own personal checkout lane while you're at it." She looked at me red-faced and shaking and yelled,
"I plan on it,"
then took off following the sidewalk around the building. As I walked to my car, I was still in shock that someone can be so awful. That sounds like an absolute nightmare of a person. I'm sorry that she feels so miserable. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you enjoy these types of videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you know when more videos come out. Thank you all for your continued support, and if you would like to join the Discord, the link for that's in the description below. We have an amazing community. You can also find all of my other social media links if you'd like to follow me on different places on the internet. Hope you all are staying safe out there, and with that being said, we'll see you next time.